The trial of Sean Diddy Combs has taken a shocking turn with the testimony of his former girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie, who took the stand on Tuesday. The case, which is currently ongoing, has already revealed some harrowing details about Combs's alleged behavior during their relationship. On the first day of the trial, prosecutors showed the jury disturbing video footage from a 2016 incident where Combs was seen physically confronting Cassie in a hotel. This footage, which made headlines last year, serves as a critical piece of evidence in the case, and its impact on the trial cannot be overstated. Cassie's testimony has been pivotal in shedding light on the nature of her relationship with Combs. She began by explaining how she met him in 2005, when she was just 19 years old and he was 37. Cassie was signed to his Bad Boy Records label, and initially, their interactions were purely professional. She described Combs as a powerful figure in the music industry, and her early experiences with him were centered around her career and the opportunities he provided her. However, things began to change when Combs made a move during a trip to Las Vegas for her 21st birthday. Cassie recalled how Combs kissed her in the bathroom of his hotel suite. At the time, she said she felt confused and young, unsure of how to react to the situation. She admitted that she didn't fully understand the power dynamics at play and didn't know how to handle the situation. This moment marked the beginning of a shift in their relationship, and Cassie soon found herself in a more personal and complicated dynamic with Combs. Over time, Cassie explained that the relationship with Combs became more complicated. While they continued to work together professionally, she was drawn into a world that she didn't fully understand. Cassie described feeling emotionally and mentally manipulated, with Combs using his power and influence to coerce her into situations where she felt trapped. One of the key issues Cassie discussed during her testimony was the pressure Combs placed on her to engage in certain activities, which she described as uncomfortable and inappropriate. She referred to these events as uncomfortable encounters, where she felt compelled to participate despite her reservations. The trial has revealed that Combs' behavior towards Cassie was not just about emotional manipulation. Cassie testified about several instances of physical altercations that occurred during their relationship. She described how their arguments often escalated into violent outbursts, with Combs lashing out at her in physical ways. She spoke about being pushed, dragged, and even kicked during these arguments. According to Cassie, these violent episodes were not isolated incidents but happened frequently throughout their relationship. She explained that Combs would sometimes be fueled by jealousy, alcohol, or drugs, and that his violent tendencies would surface in these moments. Cassie also discussed how she often felt unable to say no to Combs' demands. She explained that she was fearful of the consequences if she resisted him, particularly when it came to his sexual requests. Cassie spoke about the intense pressure she felt to comply with Combs' wishes, even if it made her uncomfortable. She described how Combs would sometimes use threats and intimidation to ensure she followed through with his desires, and how she felt trapped by his power over her. She even mentioned how Combs had used blackmail tactics, threatening to expose videos of their intimate moments if she ever tried to leave him or speak out against him. As Cassie continued her testimony, she became visibly emotional. She paused several times, taking deep breaths as she recalled the traumatic events that shaped her time with Combs. Cassie spoke about the confusion and fear she felt throughout the relationship, often not knowing what would happen next or how to protect herself. She admitted that she loved Combs deeply during their time together, which made it even harder to understand the toxic dynamics that were at play. She spoke about feeling torn between her love for him and the fear that he instilled in her through his controlling and abusive behavior. Cassie also described the freak-offs, which were the highly orchestrated parties that Combs organized, where women were coerced into participating in sexual activities. These parties, Cassie explained, were not spontaneous but were carefully planned and set up by Combs and his team. Cassie recalled how she would often feel pressured to take part in these encounters, which involved performing for Combs and other men. These events, she said, were part of a larger pattern of behavior where Combs would use his power and influence to control and manipulate the women around him, making them feel as though they had no choice but to comply with his wishes. One of the most disturbing moments in Cassie's testimony was when she described a violent encounter in a hotel room. She spoke about how, during one of the freak-offs, she tried to leave the situation, but Combs became enraged and physically attacked her. She explained that the attack was violent and intense, and it left her feeling shaken and terrified. Cassie mentioned how she was dragged across the floor and beaten by Combs, who seemed to take pleasure in her fear and discomfort. She explained that she didn't feel like she could escape the situation, and that the violence was a regular part of their interactions. As the trial continues, Cassie's testimony has become a central focus, and it is clear that the allegations against Combs are both serious and troubling. Prosecutors have painted a picture of a man who used his power and influence to manipulate and control the women in his life, using threats, violence, and blackmail to get what he wanted. They have also outlined a pattern of behavior that spanned over a decade, with multiple women coming forward to share their experiences of abuse and exploitation. Combs's defense team, however, has painted a different picture. They have admitted that Combs could be violent at times, but have denied that his actions amounted to criminal behavior. They have argued that the sexual encounters were consensual and that the women involved participated willingly. The defense has also suggested that the charges against Combs are part of an overreach by prosecutors, attempting to turn what they describe as a party-loving lifestyle into a criminal case. The trial is expected to continue for several weeks, with more witnesses set to testify in the coming days. As the case unfolds, the public is left to wonder what the ultimate outcome will be. Will Sean Diddy Combs face justice for the alleged abuse, or will he be able to convince the jury that his actions were not criminal? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This trial is one of the most high-profile and controversial cases in the entertainment industry in recent years. As the trial continues to captivate the public, one of the most significant aspects of the case is how it highlights the power dynamics that exist in the entertainment industry. The allegations against Combs have brought to light the ways in which powerful figures in the industry can manipulate and control the people around them, using their influence to exploit vulnerable individuals. This case serves as a reminder that abuse can happen in even the most glamorous and high-profile environments, and that no one is immune from being a victim of abuse, no matter how powerful or famous their abuser may be. The media has been closely following the trial, with news outlets from around the world reporting on the case as it unfolds. Some of the most shocking revelations have come from Cassie's testimony, which has left many people reeling. The emotional impact of her words has been felt not only in the courtroom but also by viewers and readers around the world who are following the case closely. The trial has become a lightning rod for discussions about abuse, power, and accountability in the entertainment industry, and its outcome could have far-reaching consequences for those in positions of power in Hollywood and beyond. As the trial continues, it will be interesting to see how the defense and prosecution continue to build their cases. Will Combs be able to convince the jury that his actions were not criminal, or will the testimonies of Cassie and others be enough to secure a conviction? Whatever the outcome, this trial is sure to leave a lasting impact on the entertainment industry and the conversations surrounding abuse, power, and accountability.